Yes.
Liftoff. Welcome, everybody.
You're watching from the future.
In the future. Welcome to everybody in the future. We are live with Chris Martin tonight, Statik Olfactive, and going to be chatting with our audience and asking questions and learning about Chris's background and talking about these amazing fragrances, which I have liberally doused myself with this evening.
Oh, yeah? Which one?
Forbidden Temple. That's probably 15 sprays right there I'm up to.
Yeah.
It has great sillage.
I will go, in the sake of the new one, I'll go Finding Forbidden Love.
Nice.
Nice.
That one sits in Jamie's collection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where I like looking at it. I'm spraying it, of course. But especially looking at it because of the gold. It's so pretty.
It's an expensive trinket. Let's be honest.
So, real quick, funny thing, people ask me, like, why is it the same price if you get it with the gold or without? But, so this is the gold that I have.
Yep.
This is $1,600 worth of gold flake. Now, I have used this for going on a year now.
Yeah.
It's like, still pretty full. So
wow, that's cool.
So it does add up over time.
Yeah, it literally costs nothing.
But per bottle, it's not worth charging the extra.
Yeah, it's literally probably 5 to 10 cents, not even maybe for just a little pinch. You know what I mean? So it's literally this will last me forever. Oh, seems like.
Yeah. $1,600.
Ange says she used to drink that in her booze in high school.
Of course you did, Ange. Of course you did.
We've got Ange in the chat. We've got Rebecca in the chat.
Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Ange.
Hello.
Thank you. Ange says my hair is fire. It's because I went to the hair salon today.
Nice.
Otherwise, it would not look like this. It wouldn't. I don't know how to do it.
Your hair always looks nice.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was just going to say, I thought it always looked like that.
Thank you. Well, we'll wait. Oh, here's Autumn.
Hi, Autumn.
Okay, Anne said one bad night. One. Never again. Courtney says she loves her vintage red. Good job, love.
Excellent. Thank you, Courtney.
Eric's in the chat.
Nice.
Thank you, Autumn.
I used to have a thing for Goldschlager.
I did too. Did you really?
Not as much as my buddy, my roommate, Eric. We said he would get Goldschlagered.
My favorite was Sambuca.
Cool.
I would literally drink a bottle myself.
Oh, you like Sambuca?
Really?
Yeah. I didn't like the other
What
kind.
about Rubbin'?
Whatever the other kind was that was like Sambuca.
Ah, Darren Allen is with us.
Darren, hi.
Darren, hello. Welcome.
What's up, Darren? Hello.
Perfect timing, Darren. Just about to praise your work.
Julie's on YouTube. Hi,
That's
Julie.
That's the real rock star here. Not us. That's the real rock star here.
Yes.
That's Darren.
Yeah.
That is facts.
Yep. There's the Darren collection right there, conveniently poised, front and center.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited because now I have a big bottle.
I know.
Of Darren's. Well, yeah.
Well, now you still need to get the Cupid's bow. And what's the other?
Cupid's bow?
Yeah.
Is that a bottle by Darren?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
I've been gatekeeping it.
You would like this one, Sweet Repose.
Oh.
That's like an iris violet.
Nice.
Yeah. You would
It's
like
beautiful.
this one. It's got like a little bit sweeter vibe.
Okay.
Song and Floors is good
Yeah,
as well.
I do
like that
I've got
one.
that one. It's beautiful.
that
I
one.
keep that in my collection. I wonder if you might.
You like John Keel? Have you smelled that?
I've smelled it, but only in sample form. I don't have the bottle of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. She would love that, I think.
Yeah. I like the honeysuckle summer one.
Yeah,
All
that
time.
one is really nice.
Right.
Yeah, John Keel is a little bit funky. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool scent.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just waiting for more people to get in here.
We'll
before
wait for some folks to
to
show
arrive.
up.
I think we're going to do a giveaway.
Yeah, since we have our large bottles now, we're gonna
pass the love on to the next generation of Statik Olfactive fans.
Yeah. So you are just north of Miami. How long have you been there?
Born and raised South Florida my whole life.
Oh, really?
Yep. Been down here my whole life. Would love to move a little more north, like North Carolina, South Carolina area.
Yeah.
But just haven't made that jump yet. But yeah, born and raised down here. I mean, I love it down here. I'm 5 minutes from the beach.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot, right in the middle of going down to Miami or up to Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on down here. New construction everywhere. Everything's getting built up. We're full. No more
Yeah, I was
people.
going to say,
We're full.
you'd think they'd have run out of space already, but
Yeah,
they keep
right.
managing to find ways to build.
Yeah.
I grew up actually in Central Florida, tiny town DeLand, north of Orlando.
Where DeLand is, yeah.
Yeah.
Where his neighbor was, what's his name?
Lived across the street from Dick Butkus. Is a random trivia. That's
Oh, yeah?
where he retired after he was done playing.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah.
That's just random.
That's
Funny.
the closest I've ever come to fame. Maybe
Being babysat by Dick
Butkus' daughter was my babysitter. That's my claim to fame. Bunny Boo says you're not moving.
We're not moving. Oh, is that your wife?
Yeah, she's in the living room.
Okay, she says we're not moving.
Bunny, like, wait a minute, I know that name. But yeah,
I would hope so, Chris.
Oh, Colby's in
Colby, you're in
DeLand.
DeLand? Get out of here.
That's crazy.
What? How did we not know that? I would have freaked out if I'd, because I hadn't asked you for your address yet. I'm going to send Colby some fougères.
Oh, nice.
Some fougère samples. He's getting on the fougère train. That's hysterical. You're in DeLand, dude. What a riot.
Huh.
I've only been there once in my adult life, and that was probably 10, 12 years ago.
I kind of want to go now.
Yeah, we'll go for
Darren
it.
What do
says
you mean I'm
my
not moving?
collection is an adventure.
Yeah, right.
Is she going to come on the camera? Are we going to meet Mrs.
No,
Martin?
she's not. She won't.
No.
Come on. She is very camera shy. She don't like cameras.
Yeah.
One of those people.
Darn.
Chris,
Yeah.
we see a big part of your collection behind you. Is that the extent of it?
No, that is one rack. There's two others in the other room.
I figured.
Nice.
I didn't think you were living off that tiny bit of perfume there.
Yeah, no, this is mainly here because that's most of my girlfriend's collection.
Okay.
In the living room, she's got all that is all Killian.
Cool.
In carafes, we've got almost the whole Killian line.
Wow.
I'm limited to like up here because that's where I can reach. This is all her down there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's her
These are
favorite
just
one?
ones that like grab and go stuff up here.
Sure.
But yeah, this is hers right here because it's close and it's easily accessible. So she wins,
Does she have a favorite?
Yeah, Killian, Love Don't Be Shy is her favorite. And she loves to layer Forbidden Games. And she also loves Flamenco by Ramon Monegal.
Nice.
And she's got a pretty eclectic taste. She's all over the place. She loves Herba Pura. She loves Guerlain, Spiritus Double Vanille. Yeah, she's kind of all over the board like I am.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep.
Okay, Ange wants to know, what's your favorite vintage fragrance?
Me?
Yeah.
That's a toughie. I love Old Tom Ford. I'm a big Old Tom Ford fan.
You gotta send him some airbrush.
Yeah, I did want to try that. I do want to get on that. But Amber Absolute, Plum Japonais. I like London. That's a good one.
In fact, I got my decant of London from you.
Yeah.
Is that London in a big bottle?
That's
in a dram, yeah.
Oh my
God. It's a Amber bottle. It's a liter of it.
Just whipping out his big Tom Ford in front of everybody.
It just happened. Yeah, I love that. I love I love older fougères as well. I like I know it's not vintage, but it's in the vintage style. Is Darren's
God, it's so freaking good. The Dorian's
Fougère, yeah, man, that's so good. I
literally have mine sitting it just sits in the living room because I just walk by and just like spray it randomly. It just lives down there because it's easily accessible.
Right. Yeah, I'd say probably the most vintage stuff that I have is Old Tom Ford, Old Creed, you just can't touch those older ones. Older Killian. I have a first year Black Phantom from 2017 that is phenomenal.
Nice.
Totally different than today's.
It's amazing. 8 years, how much it changed.
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
The oldest bottle I've got is a bottle of vetiver from Carvin, and that is a 1960s bottle.
Okay.
In the original aftershave type splash bottle.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Nice.
I'd say probably that older kind of masculine stuff.
Yeah. I love that stuff. I can't get enough. I just actually got my first bit of Carvin vetiver in.
Oh yeah.
Just last week actually.
Right on.
In my vintage haul.
In your vintage haul?
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
okay, everybody wants to hear your story.
Yes.
Colby, is it saying your hair is even better than mine?
Bless you, Colby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chris, give us the rundown, man. So you started obviously as a fragrance lover, collector. How long has that been going on?
So I've been collecting fragrances for probably close to 25 years now. It all started, most people's story, smelling Dad's Brut or the Stetson or the Old Spice, you know what I mean? And kind of sneaking that. And I've just been so I remember when I first started out at getting my own, it was the original Tommy Boy, which I have a original old vintage bottle back there, just for the sake of nostalgia. But my first niche fragrance that I got when I was about, I don't know, mid-teens, maybe, no, late teens, was Virgin Island water. And I was over at my cousin's house for Christmas, and he had Virgin Island water when it had first come out, and I sprayed it, and I just thought it was the most amazing thing I'd ever put my nose on. And then the very next year, we were back at those cousins, at my cousin's house again for Christmas, and it's my older cousin, and he got me a bottle for that Christmas. And then it was downhill since then. I mean,
how old were you at the time?
Oh, I don't know. It was over close to 20 years ago. Not 20 years. Yeah, it was probably late teens, maybe 20, something like that, give or take. And then ever since then, and then Virgin Island water after Tommy Boy was my signature scent for many, many, many years. And because down here in South Florida, it's hot and it just worked great, and it was unique. None of my friends had anything like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Everybody else is rocking Curve or Adidas or whatever. And I had this amazing boozy mojito, rum coconut deal, and so that kind of got it going as far as my love for fragrances. And then about 3 years back, I was talking with my girl. We're like, to kind of support my collection, I started doing the decanting in the fragrance groups.
Yep.
And that helped a lot, and that made it grow, pretty large as well. But after a while, you smell so many different things. I just got bored with a lot of different things that smell alike, or you get one fragrance you're so excited for that comes out brand new, and then you smell it and you're like, this is a familiar DNA. I've smelled this before. Where do I smell it from? There's a lot of overlap with fragrances, and a lot of them don't have they can smell great, but they don't have much personality. So I've always loved fragrances that kind of paint a picture for the wearer and can provide like a sense of imagery, or kind of you smell it and it can be transportive and take you to a time or a place or bring back a memory or whatever. So, and a lot of fragrances don't have that out there unless you go to like super indie, super artisanal things. So I got a bunch of like essential oils and things, and I was trying to create this woody, foresty type scent, and which would ultimately become Into the Wild. But most dark fragrances, or most weody foresty fragrances, they go like a darker route.
Yep.
Being in South Florida, a big constituent of that is that it had to be bright and fresh.
Yes.
And wear it in the warm weather and not choke me out, So I started playing around with some oil stuff, and I just couldn't quite nail it down, and I kind of gave up on it for a little while. And I realized I was way out of my league. Right? So I was way out of my league, and then I was talking to a friend, and he had heard of Mr. Darren Allen, and said, "Man, this guy would be right up your alley. He's a perfumer. Maybe you should talk to him. Just kind of bounce things off and see what happens." And Darren created the scent, and we went back and forth with a few iterations, and that process took, I think, maybe a little over a year, back and forth, and with trial formulas. And then all of a sudden, he sent one, and I smelled it, and it just was like a light bulb that went off. I was like, "This is it. This is what I'm envisioning. This is it. Perfect. Done." So then the rest is history, and decided to make a brand out of it.
So if I'm hearing correctly, you first approached Darren really just to make you a personal fragrance.
Yes. Yeah.
You hadn't created a brand yet.
Right.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part of the story.
I wanted to make something that was perfect to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something that I just had envisioned in my head as like the perfect woody, masculine, coniferous, foresty type scent, while still being unique. And at first I was like, I was talking to Darren. I wanted to just do like a small batch and kind of share it with some friends and family.
Sure.
But then after I smelled it, and then the friends and family got a hold of me, and they're like, "Man, this is fantastic. You should gatekeep this." And then it ultimately became, "Hey, let's grow this." And I spoke to Darren, and then we decided, we'll go ahead and have this be the first release for Statik Olfactive.
Thank God you got talked into that. I cannot imagine a world in which I have not discovered this scent.
There's a lot of really cool ingredients that are in that fragrance that I'm really proud about being able to showcase that Darren was able to procure from all around the world. There's I think 76.32% natural ingredients in that, and the formula.
The formula is that high, that heavy in naturals.
Yeah, 76.32%. And it's 25% concentration. The patchouli that's in there it's called a wild harvest patchouli, which is very cool. And it's sourced from a small local family farm in India. And what it is basically is they have stills set up in the fields. So as they pick the patchouli right then and there, it goes right into the stills. So the patchouli does not have time for the leaf to kind of dry out. As patchouli sits longer, that's when it starts getting real dark and earthy, and get that wet soil all smell. But this is at the peak of freshness, literally right as it's picked. They put it in the stills right there in the field. So it's a lot more labor intensive of a process, and it has a lot lower of a yield. And it's more time consuming and more expensive, but just the product is night and day.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, and the oud that's in there, people are surprised when they say that they see on the notes list that there's agarwood in there.
Yeah.
But it's not an oud like you would typically be familiar with. There's no animalic or barnyard stink to it, and what it is, it's from the non-infected heartwood of the tree. So basically, the very, very middle of the tree that hasn't been infected or no bacteria or whatever. So that's a very small yield because it's not the whole big round tree. It's just like a center. And that wood from that heartwood, it has a very similar aroma of something like a Mysore sandalwood. It's a very smooth, creamy, clean type of wood, similar to sandalwood, but it's still oud. But it's just non-infected, very center heartwood of the tree, you know what I mean. So that's another one that's pretty cool to have in there. It's not like any other oud that I've ever smelled before, but yeah, very high in naturals and still 100% IFRA safe and compliant and all that stuff. And people think with oak moss, one thing that I learned from Darren, oak moss is a material that is on the IFRA list for being, hazardous to skin or can cause rashes and all that. But there's 2 specific molecules in oak moss that cause that reaction on the skin. Right. And with technology these days, they can remove those molecules from the essential oil of oak moss. And those 2 molecules contribute nothing whatsoever to the odor of the oak moss. So you can still have oak moss in fragrances if you get the kind that has those 2 molecules removed.
Right.
That's why it's also got the oak moss in there too. It's got a good amount of oak moss. That green color comes from the violet leaf absolute and the oak moss absolute.
Okay.
Very cool.
So
I
there's
mean,
no color whatsoever.
I mean, it looks absolutely nuclear.
Yeah.
And it smells like it looks.
Right.
Right? It's not the deep green, earthy
Right.
kind of pine, or like you're saying, the patchouli. It's not chocolatey, it's not earthy. It's bright, it's ozonic, it's energizing, it's like crisp and clean and zingy.
I think it's super cool how the color of the fragrance turned up to be that color
Yeah,
to
it
match
is.
the scent.
Right.
And it's the cool. There's no dyes or colorants at all used in that. That's
Yeah.
just how it came out naturally.
It's
Yeah.
an absolutely amazing color for a natural juice.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like Dior vetiver color, if you know that fragrance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that neon green juice. That's almost
Yeah,
similar.
or the old Eau Noir.
Yeah.
Was that green Hulk juice.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that new cap.
It's beautiful, man.
I thought it matched perfect.
It's great. I love it. Yeah, I mean, anybody who loves pine and hasn't tried this scent is missing out on, one of, if not the best pine centric scents in the world. I mean, it sounds a little bit kind of, it sounds like hyperbole, or a fan blowing sunshine, up your backside. But
Right.
pine is one of my favorite notes. I've smelled everything from pineward. I've smelled, Feeling Agile. I've smelled all the great historical pines.
Mm-hmm.
They're great. A lot of them are wonderful. I don't know that I would put a single one of them in front of this on my list.
Nice.
I mean,
that's awesome.
Exceptional. And it's because I think it's so crisp and clean and bright and unique and different, It literally smells like nothing else on the planet. It's incredible, And, for people who don't understand how this process works, I mean, yes, of course, it's Darren Allen's mastery at work, but this is so different from anything Darren has done in his main line. It's so out there, off the beaten path, that, like, if you hadn't come along and poked him, right, and been like, "Hey, dude, this, no, not that, this, no, right," then this is never going to come into existence. Darren on his own is never just going to decide to make something like this, and it's only because of somebody like you, a creative director with an idea and an ability to communicate it, that something like this comes into existence. Which it's just so cool. It's an amazing process.
It's a cool process.
Yeah.
Seeing something go from the idea and what I picture in my head to something that's tangible. Like I can, like, this is, you know what I mean? This is what I pictured. And then here it is. Perfumers are freaking magicians. They're artists. They're painters. They're sculptors. It's a true art form. And to take something like that, somebody's words, and make it something tangible that you can hold and see and smell, it blows my mind. And I mean, for that reason is one of the reasons why on my website, I have a whole page dedicated under each fragrance that I highlight the perfumer that made it. Perfumers are the real rock stars here. I mean, the stuff they make, how they do it, and so many fragrances, go under the radar and you have no idea who made it, but it could be somebody great. And sometimes you like to see who that perfumer is so you can follow their work. Certain perfumers have a certain signature that they're known for, and this and that. And if you like one fragrance, you don't know who made it, you're missing out on so many other great creations that they could have done that are in that same genre, so.
Yeah. And, let's geek out a little bit more on this, this formula, because it doesn't read as animalic, and yet a good chunk of the formula, there's some, there's castoreum in it. Like you said, there's oud. There's another animalic or two.
Civet.
There's civet as well.
Right.
Okay. And now I know Darren's work is all vegan. Is it the same stuff that he's using, or did you guys use any real animalics in this?
So there are real animalics in the wild.
I thought so. Okay.
They're ethically sourced. They are ethically sourced animalics. Everything that's in there is 100% sustainable. animalics that are in there are used to. It doesn't really come off animalic or have like a funk. It's
No,
used
not
to
at all.
ground out the fragrance and give it some depth in
Yep.
the base. Kind of give it a little bit of sophistication. I've gotten, since that was released, I've gotten so many messages and emails from people asking how bad is it with the anna, because you see civet and castoreum and you're like, whoa,
Right.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's really not at all.
But
Yeah.
I love that you guys decided to list that in the notes.
Yeah.
Because it is, I mean, it is an important part of the experience, even though you don't, again, this is a fresh, clean fragrance. You don't smell anything dark, dank, or funky.
Right.
But like you said, it wouldn't be the same formula without those.
No.
Yeah.
No, I was, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it, but it's funny you had mentioned, I was talking with Darren, maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago or so, and we just kind of just BSing back and forth. And I was saying, well, so many people, they like this fragrance, but then they also want to see a darker actual animalic funky version. And I said, what do we think about an Into the Wild After Dark?
Nice.
So no plans on that whatsoever yet. We were just joking back and forth. But that might be something that, might talk to Darren out about in the far future, because he's got a lot going on. I've got a lot going on. I've got releases that are about to come out that aren't even out yet. So we're not chickens for their hatch.
We'll leave that as a teaser for later. We'll get to that a little bit later with folks. Anybody, anything we need to?
No, not really. They're all yapping
amongst themselves. Wonderful.
Responding to what he's saying.
Yeah, good. Well, I mean, I just, at the risk of gushing anymore, we should probably move on. Between my love for all of Darren's work and for what you managed to mold and squeeze out of him. This is just
kind of rough.
A lot of that was him too, and his ideas bouncing back and forth, because ultimately, so. But yeah, it worked out. It worked out really well.
Yeah. Okay, so you started with this Darren Allen as a personal fragrance that becomes the brand, and then what? Like, at what point, does this take off? How quick was the success? Obviously, there was success because you went, shit, I got something here. Let me reach out to somebody else about doing round 2.
So, knowing that the process of making a good solid perfume is going to be, it's nothing quick. Going from an idea and a narrative and a brief to something and something tangible, knowing that it's going to be looking at least a year, maybe less, maybe we'll see what happens. So believe it or not, right as maybe a couple weeks after that was released, I started looking at other perfumers. And I just started doing research on Fragrantica and this and that. And I hadn't even heard of and didn't know that he was the perfumer for Zoologist Panda and Rhino at the time. But I was just looking up local American indie perfumers, going through a bunch of them. And I shot Paul an email a couple weeks after Into the Wild and just started talking to him, getting to know him. And then, he sent me out a couple samples of his work and to see if that's something that I might like for his style and, for the brand and whatnot, and see if it was a match or what I'd be looking for. And then we decided to move forward. And that was about probably a month and a half after Into the Wild was released. And then we started working on the second fragrance. And then,
that was the Forbidden Temple.
Right.
Started with a different name that we won't mention. You had to go through a whole bunch of BS around trademark dispute, which seems like an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. Being fraudulent.
Are you all free and clear on that, or are there NDAs where you're not even allowed to mention?
No, free and clear. What happened was the original name, somebody, another brand that I won't mention, they said that I infringed on their trademark. They sent me a cease and desist. So the first thing I got on the horn, and obviously when I was coming out with that, I did like a rudimentary search on the internet and search trademark. There wasn't one. So I got a hold of a trademark lawyer, and then he did some research. There's a brand out there, and as soon as they started their brand, they filed for trademarks in like every category to kind of shut out the whole everything. And so they filed a trademark for the health and beauty category, which is where perfumes fall under. But the problem with that is that you have to, within that fiscal year, you have to show proof of an actual physical product that this trademark is applicable for.
Yep.
Huh.
They never came out with a product for the last 9-10 years that they've been renewing this trademark. So the trademark was null and void, and they never had a perfume before then. So my lawyer found this out and responded to them, called them on their bluff. And in that meanwhile, they got working, making a fragrance using the old name that I had. They did that. They then filed for the trademark again and submitted their perfume that they have in the making. And at the end of the day, they stole it right out from under me, and there's nothing else I could do about it. Because at that point, so moving on from that date forward, I couldn't use the name because they legally got the trademark now by furnishing a fragrance. But going back prior to that, it was null and void. It didn't nothing they could do about it. So
sure.
It is.
And if anybody wants to know, you reach out to me privately. I'll tell you what the name of the company is, and not to purchase anything from them ever. Tell all your friends.
It was very shady, very slimy how they did it, but it was a pretty big setback. But that I took that up to update my packaging and all that stuff, and kind of just come back better. And
yeah. Well, good. You made it through. So this was released end of 23.
Right. October 23.
Okay. And then when did Forbidden Temple come out?
That came out, I think, June or July.
Okay, of 24 last year.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, done by Paul Kyler, who's known for his work for Zoologist.
Yeah.
And talk to us a little bit about the process of like what, obviously we know what you were trying to do because here it is, and many of us have smelled it. But what was your strategy or your mindset, or how did you get from bright clear pine into like sort of oriental tea spice?
Right. So my mind is all over the place when it comes to perfumes as far as idea. I've had on a running list on my notes on my phone for years of just ideas that I've thought of. And so they've just kind of come together in pieces. And I had this idea for a tea-based fragrance, but one that was evocative of like sipping tea in like an ancient temple, like an ancient like hidden temple or whatever. And then when I found out that Paul specializes in teas and tea fragrances, there's two other things they specialize in as well. But for tea specifically, I was like, I'm going through my list, and I was like, oh, this is the one right here. So I talked to him, and originally it didn't start out how that is there. Do you still have the
sample that you sent me?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I don't know where it is. My wife has categorized it somewhere.
No, it's literally right over there.
Oh, she just knows where everything is.
So,
by the way, everyone, I'm doused in about 15 sprays of this evening, and I smell fabulous.
Speaking of samples, does he have his own samples on hand? Do you have any of your samples on hand? Because Ken wants you to show what they look like.
Yes.
He thinks they're impressive.
I think Ken's impressive. How about that?
I agree.
So what I'm spraying here on my hand, everybody, Chris was kind enough to send me. This is a trial formula, an earlier iteration.
That smells good.
This smells more actually like Paul's work, his main line.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this with Darren.
Like a resinous version.
Like he working with Darren, sort of, they end up creating something very different from Darren's usual work. As I was saying here, Chris, this smells more like the Paul Kyler work that I know.
Right.
And this smells kind of like similar how you got Darren to go outside of his normal kind of zone. Right. This smells different from Paul Kyler's normal work.
Right. So, well, real quick, these are the sample boxes.
His samples are off the charts, guys. His packaging, his presentation.
So you open the little slide-out drawer, and then the sample sits in the foam there. And these are 3 mil atomizers, so you get a little more bang for your buck. And they are actually fine mist sprayers as well on these.
Awesome.
And they're printed, and printed with the logo on there and all that. Creed uses these same bottles for their samples.
Ah,
Nice.
better sample presentation than many brands' full
Right.
presentations.
I'm gonna make a like a little discovery set that's gonna be basically like this, but like rectangular.
Yeah,
Here soon, and it's gonna have the all
nice.
fragrances lined up in it.
Very cool.
Not there yet, but so
Okay, so how's the process with Paul go?
good. So it started out. So the original notes that I had in my phone was I wanted like a dark Chinese plum with incense and with black tea. So he made the formula based on that, and this is the original formula here that I actually had forgotten I even had and found it like in the back of my desk a while back.
Nice.
And what happened was when I got this, he formulated it, and then as it it macerated for a couple of weeks, and he sent it out to me to try. And at first, it's not that I didn't like it, but I liked it, but it's not what I was going for.
Yeah.
What I envisioned in my head. The combination of the dark plum with the incense with the black tea just made it way too dark of a fragrance. I didn't want it that dark. It was almost too dark and smoky with that. So I went back to Paul and talked to him, and it was actually him that recommended lightening it up with the apricot.
Ah,
So that's how the apricot came in, which is a version of a plum. It's in the plum family. And he suggested adding a little bit of green tea in the mix to lighten the formula. So that's how we landed on a green and black tea mix with the apricot. And then that's the only thing that changed.
okay.
And then we went back and forth with a couple of those formulas till it got nailed down to where I was like, this is awesome. Let's go with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you guys just nailed it. I mean, this is very cool, and it's darker, edgier, maybe more masculine, definitely more sort of avant-garde, like Paul's other work, edgier. This is better.
Oh, yeah? You do like that? This is starting to grow on me.
Is it?
Really liking the plum, though. I'm really liking the plum in this as a set, because this is almost a year old now, too.
Oh, sure.
So and it's just sat, and then I found it again, and I sprayed it, and I was like, that plum there has really matured.
I mean, I like it. It's my style. I think this is obviously something that sells a lot, probably better than that would. More mass appealing. There's this really sort of there's this zingy spice quality to me that leads this to be something that I wouldn't have expected, which is a fragrance that actually works really well in cool weather.
Yeah, it's got some depth to it that it can hang with. It's a tea fragrance that isn't real light. It's got some weight to it that it can hang in cooler weather.
Yeah. What's the kind of spicy?
So Hinoki wood has a little bit of spice, but I think what that would be the Bois d'Essence, which is a very kind of spicy, kind of smoky wood.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably where it comes from. In there you've got the apricot, the jasmine, the black tea, the green tea, sandalwood, Armenian wood, Bois d'Essence,
so good,
frankincense, myrrh, and musk.
So there's frankincense as well. All right.
Yeah. So I think it's probably the frankincense comes across a little sweet though. He's removed some of the real smoky facets from it to give it kind of like a sweeter take. But I think it's probably the Bois d'Essence, which it gives a little bit of a spice.
And so, were you already planning the follow up from the beginning with him?
No.
Or when did this come into the picture?
So that came about very after the fact. So one of the trial formulas that he sent was after we changed it to the apricot. He sent 4 versions of the same formula, but with a different tea used. One of them was just black tea. One of them was a black and green tea mix. One of them was green tea, and one of them was white tea. So I smelled all the other ones, and then we decided, okay, the black and green is phenomenal. Let's go with that. But then we smelled the white tea, and the white tea almost completely changed the whole profile. It was a completely different scent, and a tea that did not. It just made everything so different within the formula. And my girlfriend fell in love with it, and she's like, I know you really like the green and the black to kind of be the vibe that we're going for, but she begged me. She's like, "Can we please get the white tea too?" And I was like, so I went back to Paul and I was like, "Look, man, this is the one I want. The green and black mix, it's phenomenal, but we really like the white tea too. Can we work like a separate fragrance and do like a flanker?" I mean, it's crazy already talking about a flanker, but these two fragrances could almost be like yin and yang, you know? And
they really are.
Yeah.
They
so
are.
that's when one decided to come about and change a bunch of things in there too to make it its own unique fragrance with its own identity. But you could still tell it's got a very little bit of the underlying DNA, and they kind of tie together.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I remember when we first sampled these, I went, "Boy, this smells a lot." And then we didn't know when we looked up. I didn't know that. I know that your third fragrance was coming out. I knew obviously it was similarly themed, but I didn't know until we smelled it and went, "Wait a minute!" And then looked up that Paul had done it as well.
Yeah, it definitely has his signature there.
That makes sense. Again, for those watching and curious, my experience of these is that they are a little bit, yang and yin. And this one, they're both unisex, but this one is certainly more wearable for me, somebody who prefers more masculine leaning. I would say this one nudges a degree more masculine, and this one nudges a degree more feminine, perhaps. They're both beautiful. And even though this one I like more for me and I wear, God, I really want to say this one maybe is just a bit. It's so classy, dude.
I have been wearing it a lot myself as well. And let me tell you, the only thing to me that makes it a little bit more feminine leaning is that white peach, the white peach note in the opening, because white peaches are a lot brighter and fresher and more airy than normal yellow peach that is in every other peach fragrance. Normal peaches are more like they're a lot heavier, syrupy. They're like stickier. They're more sugary, sweeter. White peach is a lot more airier and brighter and fresher, but it also is a lot more floral too. Has more of a floral vibe. And the white tea also lends to that a little bit. But as it dries, I get a lot of the honey and the sandalwood that comes through. And it's this smooth, creamy kind of tea vibe to me.
God, it's good. It's really good.
It's fantastic, I think.
Yeah. All right. I've been geeking out with this dude for an hour. I will take a step back. Right. You might have some questions that you want to ask of the man. Do we need to catch
A lot
up?
of people are commenting about my hair. Thank you. Darren said that he describes these as dreamy and ethereal smelling, which I think is a really accurate way to say it.
Yeah.
Mitra is in here. Mitra K.
Hi, Mitra.
She said, "Congrats on the third one." They're talking about peaches.
Everybody go follow Mitra if you're not. She is an absolute queen of everything designer, vintage. Yeah.
Yes. Ken says Finding Forbidden Love is the perfect peach and white tea combination. Yeah.
I
think it's wonderful. Good. Okay, and Logan says your hair looks great.
God bless you, Logan.
He says sorry, just joined.
You're a good man.
Do you want to take a minute to do the giveaway?
Sure, we can do a mid-sesh giveaway.
Let's do a little bit of a giveaway.
Since we were kindly gifted with the full bottles here from Chris, we can now
release.
I don't want to, but I will. I will.
It was my idea, guys.
It's always her idea to give shit away. It's never my idea, but I'll play along. So let's do it.
Ange wants to know if she would like this.
Yes, Ange, you would.
Mm-hmm.
It's got oomph. It's got body, and it's got again that tea, the floral thing. It almost, I don't know if there's any aldehydes actually in here, but
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't know.
Yeah, it gives an impression. So it's up your alley, Ange. It's got that subtle, it's just nudging towards vintagey kind of feeling, like vintage feminine. It's real. I actually really like it on me.
It smells good.
Might start wearing your underwear next. Anyway,
great.
Cole's here. What's up, Cole?
Yeah. So Ken says it's decadent, like a woman floating in clouds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really beautiful.
Cole, we're going to do a giveaway. You joined.
Cole's
just
got
in
that
time.
sixth sense, man.
Yeah.
Every time there's a giveaway, he smells it from 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
All right. So
we're going to do the numbers game.
Let's do the numbers game. How many people we have in there? 30. We got 31
people.
in there. We've got one on YouTube.
Yeah.
How many do we have? Well, I forgot to click the go live button on Instagram.
That's okay. Don't worry about that.
So we have no one on there. All right. It's mostly our TikTok folks. Let's do it. Let's go. Everybody knows the number game.
Well, some people are new here. So what we're going to do is you're going to choose a number between 1 and what?
To be clear, I'm not going to choose a number.
The Google
the random number generator is going to choose a number. And closest number wins. It's not the Price is Right. You can be over. You can be under. So we are going to go let's go between 1 and 150. Everybody pick a number between 1 and 150 right now. One number only. If you pick two numbers, you're DQ'd.
Yep, just put it once and you can go.
Or they're on like a
and go.
And go.
Yes, US only.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. US only. Do you ship international, Chris?
I do.
Awesome.
That's good to know.
Yep.
We got James Garner in here. We got Billy in here.
Mitra.
This is awesome. Mitra put 13, lucky number 13.
Got a girl.
If you're just joining, put in a number from 1 to 150. We're going to win. Cole, we're winning. First, we're going to do finding. What is it? No,
this is for Forbidden Temple.
Does it have to?
Forbidden Temple.
Okay. Christian, join us.
All right, everybody. AJ, what's up, man?
Let AJ and Christian.
All right.
We're on a lag.
All right, we're on a
pick
short
a number,
lag.
Guys.
You got 5 more seconds to pick a number between 1 and 150. Been wanting to try. Oh, Billy, you gotta do it, Billy. I feel like what's his name from
Christian? Put in a number.
Caddyshack. Billy.
Okay. Well.
All right, here we go.
Not paying attention.
1 to 150. You guys can see it generated live. Generate. The number is 24.
Okay.
Matt V's 34. 10 off. $26. Julie got 26. Is that you, Julie, on YouTube and?
Oh no, we got one. We got Pillowmaker.
Oh, Pillowmaker
24,
on
24.
the spot. 24.
Exactly.
Sorry, Jules, you got.
I don't think anyone's beaten that.
You got beat.
Nope,
Well,
the Pillowmaker.
It's literally impossible to beat that.
Good job. Okay, the Pillowmaker. I can't believe I'm saying that. Do you actually make pillows? What kind of pillows do you make? Okay, so the Pillowmaker.
You need to
just PM us. I already have your address, but just to remind me to cue me. Yes, I know you just purchased Event to Shred, but just cue me by PMing me so I know to send this to you. You get the Forbidden Temple.
Atta girl. Okay, one more numbers game for
the Peach Tea.
Finding Forbidden Love.
Yep. So you guys can write once again. Put in numbers 1 to 150.
And go.
This is fun. It's always fun.
It's my favorite part.
Is it really?
I just always want to play the numbers game with everybody.
I don't see nobody's.
Dave, you're not allowed to enter.
Yeah, it's on a lag.
Oh, is it on a lag?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
The TikTok's probably like 7 or 8 seconds behind.
Is it okay?
Yeah. And yes, YouTube folks, I am seeing you on YouTube. I see you, PPTX. I see you, Louis V. I got you both there. So I am looking to see if you guys are the winners.
Yes.
Do we have anyone on IG? Sincere Sense, I see you on IG. Picking the great male number of all time. Because why not? All right, everybody. Let's do this thing.
Bunny Boo says, I have a 300 ml on the shelf, so I don't need to.
Atta girl, buddy. All right, here we go. 110.
110. Okay.
PPTX. That was your previous guest. Damn, PPTX. Sorry. That was for the first round. For this round, you're on 141. Cole, I see you in there as well with a 90. Ooh, right there. 116. Dante, 116 is only 6 off.
119.
That's further
Yeah,
away.
okay. Looks
like Dante got a 116. Did anybody beat 116? Is anybody closer than 6?
100. Yeah.
No, 116 is closer. Okay, Dante.
All right, Dante.
You are the winner.
So you need to, Dante, please PM us, Mr. and Mrs. Sniff. DM us, PM us, whatever it is.
So good.
And I will mail this to you in the morning.
Great.
Congrats.
So, I was just getting ready to geek out again.
Oh.
Do you like to get personal with people? I just want to know about his products.
I mean, you did a great job, actually.
I don't care about the man. I just care about the juice.
I don't know that I have any other deeper personal questions.
All right, great. Let's geek out again.
Good job.
So, tell us about the future, Chris.
Yeah, what are
there are plans?
There are a couple fragrances that are coming very soon that I'm very excited about. The perfumer is not released yet, but it's going to be something awesome. It's going to be a dual his and hers release, and it's going to have a Wild West theme.
Yes.
I'm really excited about this.
So like the masculine one is going to be like a cowboy fragrance, whiskey, tobacco, boozy type thing. There's some really cool things that are going on in that fragrance that we'll talk about in a later time. And then there will be the feminine one will be a showgirl, like burlesque kind of saloon girl type fragrance.
Nice.
And some very cool things in those fragrances that tie to those years and that make them historically correct and all that kind of stuff.
Very cool.
Very cool.
And I'm working on the cap. This is going to be the cap for the feminine one.
The rose. Look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Stop.
And it's going to be a rose gold color. It won't be this gold color, but it'll be a rose gold color. So that'll give you a hint of one of the ingredients that's in there.
Obviously.
Oh, my goodness.
Hopefully there's a lot of rose and kind of some funky, sweaty musk.
It's going to be, there may or may not be a note of used garter belts.
Yes.
Okay, then.
Yes.
It's very, that fragrance is done. The Saloon Girl one is done, and that is very, very sexy. It's a beautiful feminine fragrance. It's got rose, tuberose, marshmallow, and then some very cool vintage, not vintage, but historically correct things besides that in there. So so it's going to be a very cool thing coming up.
Nice, man. That sounds fun.
I'm in talks with 3 other perfumers in addition to that for things to come in the future, because in this business you always got to have something in the pipeline.
Yep.
So because of the time that it takes to create the fragrance, so I'm kind of working on getting the following 6th, 7th fragrances going.
Awesome. So these two are a paired release ETA roughly. I mean, this year.
Well, like I said, the feminine one is done. That's already been finalized. We're working on the masculine one, and that is almost done. I don't have a trial formula yet on that. It's almost done, not quite. So we're looking at maybe still a few more months out. Don't have an exact date yet, but follow me on my Instagram, my TikTok. That's where you'll learn everything first and foremost before anybody else or anywhere else. And I will definitely keep those dates updated as it comes closer. I'm still, so far I've done 3 fragrances and I still haven't quite mastered down the timing of giving an exact date on things. Because every time I give a date, either I'm waiting on the product to come from like my bottles, my suppliers, boxes, and it's not here yet, or the juice isn't fully matured yet, things like that. So working on nailing that down, but it's definitely follow my socials and you'll be the first to know there. But a few more months. but
Gotcha.
almost there.
Can't
Okay.
wait.
Very nice, man.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about this. Maybe some others are about, industry side stuff. So, Darren and Paul are using, they both got some proprietary materials, especially for this upcoming stuff has got some interesting stuff in it. So it's going to be the same thing applicable there. But these guys have proprietary kind of materials that they use. He's got house bases. I'm assuming Paul's using, he's very well known for having a black tea absolute.
Yeah.
So, it's obviously not just they iron out a formula with readily available materials that you can then take to some, producer. You can't just give the formula to an
Right.
oil house because they don't have that stuff. Are these guys making a bunch of juice in large batches? Are you hand blending stuff? I know you do. Are you still doing like the bottling and the
Yeah,
labeling and like?
so everything is done in house, literally in my home here. As far as the bottling, the labeling, the packaging, everything is done in house. For Into the Wild, I do buy the finalized completed juice because with that one, it is there's so much natural resins and waxes and things like that in that formula. It has to be filtered 3 times and it has to be cold filtered. For those that are unaware, cold filtered, you put literally the whole batch in the fridge for a few days. Those natural resins and waxes kind of solidify and kind of filter them out. You've got to do that 3 times. It's got to go through purifiers, all sorts of stuff. Way too much for me to do in my operation here right now in the house. So that I do buy from Darren as the finalized product. The other ones, I get the concentrate from Paul and buy a few kilos of the concentrate at a time. And I have big 5-gallon jugs, like big paint bales full of perfumer's alcohol, and I dilute them myself.
Okay.
So I dilute those.
Macerate. How long do you let that formula macerate?
Minimum of a month, 3.5 to 4 weeks. Usually around 3 weeks is when it's done, but I like to just be sure at about a month. Basically, when the alcohol smell goes away, is when when you open the cut and you smell it. If it doesn't have a real alcohol type vibe to it, that's when everything has gotten kind of cozy and matured together and gotten all the molecules have kind of bonded and all that. Then it's good. And that usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks. So I usually call it a month, and to call it good at a month, double check it to make sure. Filter it. I do have filter papers because there are a lot of naturals in both of them. Into the Wild is exceptionally high, but sometimes you do get some sediment, some particulate that forms as the fragrances sit there. So I filter it one more time. But besides that, just the dilution is done here of the two. Besides Into the Wild, and then bottled, labeled, everything by hand. So
so it's a huge dose of work, man.
It's a big labor of love.
It's a full-time gig to keep production. Speaking of which, has this become full-time operation for you?
Not now at the moment, but I look for future one day for it to be. I've been going around. I've been putting feet to pavement, going to different niche perfumeries. I was just up in New York, and I went to a few perfumery stores up in there. Scent Bar, which is Lucky Scent, Oswald, and then I drove over to Philadelphia, went to Perfumology, talked to the owners there, pitching the product, introduced myself. And then there's a couple of stores here in Florida that want me, but they want to wait until I have at least 5 fragrances, because this way at least I have more of a variety to show, and as like an actual line that they can display on their shelves, which I totally understand and totally get. You want to have stuff that can appeal to everybody when you're showing a brand. So it's on the up and up, and talking to some websites out there, see if I can get the product on there. I'm on Kingdom Fragrance right now, and I'm on fragrancesamples.uk for those people in Europe that want to get samples of these fragrances. They can get them in Europe over there, save you some money than having to spend the shipping charge for just one sample coming all the way from here. So that's beneficial to have over there. Other than that, yeah, it's just putting in the work. Like Jamie said, it's a labor of love. I do love it. I'm passionate about it. I've been into fragrances for a long time, and I got big plans for ideas that I want to bring to life. So,
I mean, the passion obviously comes through, but again, stuff that maybe people who aren't really in the industry don't think about. When you look at the packaging material that you send, and you look at this bottle and this plaque, this isn't a sticker, guys. This is a plaque on here. A 3D. I'm not going to try to peel it off. A 3D thing. There's this huge heavy cap. It's a fine mist atomizer. I don't think people understand the cost that adds up.
Yeah.
To do something like this, and then
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys just went silent. I don't know why. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can everybody else hear?
Okay, I hear you now.
There we go. Okay, great. Yeah. So the the degree to which a presentation like this chews into the margins is no joke, right? So just something to appreciate about a small indie brand that's willing to do something like this, that speaks to the love of fragrance.
Those caps are pretty heavy when you think about ordering 2,000 of those caps at a time
and having them shipped.
Weight, and you got to be shipped from overseas. You're looking at like close to $1,500-$1,800 in shipping just because of the weight of the metal caps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm always looking to improve. That right now I'm going to run with that for a while. I think that's a great looking product so far.
Yeah.
With the presentation there, but as I
even,
grow,
even the 10 mLs, right? Like,
it's a very attractive 10 ml.
Yeah, that's like a bottle.
Yeah.
Pressurized atomizers on those.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Beautiful.
The boxes started out like this, and then they have.
Yep, I remember those.
Yeah, and then they now they're a little bit cleaner.
Very beautiful.
A little better looking. So change the logo, change a whole bunch of stuff.
Very nice. Very nice. Cool.
And we talked about the future. By the way, I've decided to make there's going to be the Forbidden line, which is the Finding Forbidden Love and the Forbidden Temple. They're going to be in its own line, and all of the fragrances are going to have the name Forbidden in them.
Okay.
Cool.
However, some form or way, whether it's highlighting a specific ingredient or like Forbidden Oud or whatever,
Yeah.
But that the exclusive perfumer for that line is going to be none other than Paul Kyler.
Great.
Amazing.
I've spoken to him. He's on board with it. I think it's going to be great having one nose for the line because he understands the line. He knows the DNA. So he's going to be doing all of the forbidden fragrances. So there's going to be more coming to the forbidden line that will be worked on here soon as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Good. I look forward to the White Rhino Tusk note.
Yeah. Right.
Mitra says Forbidden Iris, please.
Ooh.
Forbidden Iris?
Yeah.
All right. We can maybe do something like that. Yeah. I do love a good iris fragrance.
Yes.
Any other questions, anyone, about?
People are yapping about
they're good.
Different things.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Darren says that's a cool idea. He loves it.
Yeah, that is a super cool idea. And into the night.
Into the wild after dark.
Into the wild after dark.
Yeah. Amped up animalics, take away the freshness and the ozonic quality, amp up the animalics, make it a lot darker, heavier. We'll see what happens. Right now, just an idea, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
An after dark thing would be pretty cool to do.
That would be very cool.
Stan, the website is Statik Olfactive.
Statik with a K.
With a K.
Yeah, take a look at Chris's tag under his picture there.
Yeah. AJ says, real forbidden musk, maybe.
Yeah.
The forbidden musk.
Siberian deer parts.
Right.
Yeah. Darren says he's on board.
Awesome. Yes.
Aaron
Well-
says into the city instead of into the wild.
Right?
Into the City would be interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting fragrance.
Concrete notes and things
Yeah.
like that.
People would
Yeah.
then think that that's a play on what was it? Don't they have a concrete jungle or synthetic jungle or something like that?
Oh, Frederick Mall did synthetic.
Mall,
jungle.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Anyway.
Awesome.
This is a great chat.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure, guys. And I tell everybody about you guys. I think you guys are great. Your style of doing videos, your reviews, very casual, laid back,
Thank you, man.
speaking matter of factly to people. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not rehearsed. You're not reading off cue cards behind the back. You know.
Right.
Yeah,
No
it's really,
rehearsal.
really down to earth, very homey. What you guys are building there, so I like it.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chris.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
So,
yep.
awesome. All right, everybody, go check out Chris's house, Static Olfactive, and we will keep you updated on all of the exciting things that he has coming.
Yes.
Perfect.
We're really